very warm welcome to our first stream in the new year. So today we'll be looking at how to work with files in qualitative research. Okay, and so in qualitative research, most of our files tend to be field notes like this one here, or interviews. Okay. The first thing that I want to tell you before we go into the software and the analysis part is I want to discuss a little bit on the use of files in data collection. Let me just move this to a new desktop. Okay, so the use of files in data collection. As far as I'm concerned, it is super important to have your data collection anchored around one file per day. This idea of one file per day, that you can go back and understand everything that happened during that day, and have some sort of a chronology of your research. So the way I do that is I have this, and obviously there are alternatives, but this is the way I do it and I found useful, is I have this sort of extended field note file where I have my traditional field notes here. I list my activities for the day. I list any documents that I have, and I don't have it here, I think, but I list also any interviews that I make, which means that if I need sort of a consolidated record of what happened during one day in the field, I have it there. Okay. I also, at the end of the field notes, I also make annotations on the documents, okay? And you'll see that in some cases I'll say, okay, this deserves its own analysis. In other cases, I'll just have a brief analysis for the document, okay? So this is the idea here, is that you have somewhere where you have everything, okay? But obviously, when you're doing field work, you're going to end up collecting a bunch of documents. I collected literally thousands and thousands of pages, and the way I dealt with it during my sort of like moving from data collection to analysis is, I did this file, this Excel file. I'll put it on a separate screen here. There we go. Where I have a list of all of the documents that I have. Okay. Then and this list basically has the field name, the description, the type, and the medium. Okay. Now, field names, the way I work with field names is I'll put the date, so this is 2002. Then I put a two-letter code for the file type, so HT is HTML, and then A or B if I have, in this case I have more than one, so A is the first, B is the second, right? So I have two HTML files for the same day, okay? And all of these files are in one folder that I call files, and they're just all there. If I sort the folder, it will be sorted by date, which is good because remember, I have my field notes with everything organized by date, but I can also sort by the type of document and so on. Okay, and obviously media, it's either electronic or paper, but I basically scanned everything, so it's basically electronic or scanned. Okay. This is super good because it just helps you find stuff that you see in field notes, documents that you see in field notes, or things that you remember. So super, super, super helpful to have this entire list of documents. I have a separate list for audio files, so these typically are interviews, and this is just to help me out. This is not current, of course. They're all transcribed now, but this is just to help me out, do my job of transcribing audio files or interview transcripts. And then I have all my field notes where I basically say what I'm doing, and if I'm observing, who is the person that I'm observing. Okay. Now, at the beginning, I had this by stage with stage and task, so you can do an entire like a super nice table with us that can help you out. This is not for analysis; it's just for you to to keep a list of the files and field notes that you have and be able to find things quickly. Okay, good. Ooh, sorry about that. A little bit tired. I don't know why. Okay. So just to go through the field notes. So I have the date. I have the activities, what I did. So you see in at the beginning of the morning, I was just hanging around, and then I sat next to a desk person. The documents that I have, then the field notes, and these I normally, when I was doing field work, I was sitting next to people with my computer open, so I typed, I'll say 90% of my field notes while I was doing observation. But then I just tied them up at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I also looked at, as you see, they're quite extensive. I also looked at the documents that I have here and made some initial comments. Okay. Good. So that's it about field notes and file organization. Now, what I want to show you then is how do you use this in specific bits of software. So let's start with NVIVO, okay? Again, moving to a new screen. So with NVIVO, you basically, to add a new file, you just go here, go to data, and import document, and it will allow you to import some whatever document you want, and it will show up here. So I'll just do this here, just as an example. Okay, it will import slowly, but it will very slowly. Okay, let's just cancel this. Okay, so it will import here, and then there are multiple things you can do with your files once you have them here. Okay. The first thing that you can do and you should do is do file sets. Okay. And now file sets, what you do for file sets depends on the sort of data that you have. So let's say you looking at my dissertation data, where I had documents, field notes, and interviews. I had those three types of files, and these were for sales managers and desk sales people, and these were divided among 10 teams. Okay. So what I could do is I could do a set of each of this. So I could do a set, let's say these are interviews for managers. So I could go here, add to set, and then cancel. Well, I could go to sets actually, new set, and I could do, this is a little bit slow today. So I can go to sets and do managers and employees. I can go to sets and do interviews and field notes and documents, and I can go to sets and say team number 1, team number 2, team number 3. Okay, those are file sets. Now, why is this important? Well, because if I want to look at differences of practices or conditions for action or even outcomes in different teams, I can just search for codes, like for all of the output codes, outcome codes, or all the practices codes in a specific set of files, right? Which were the files for that team. If I want to distinguish the practices of managers from employees, again, I can search within a specific set. Okay? I don't know why this is so slow. So let me just get out of NVIVO and get in again. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. Let's hope this is better. Okay, so those would be the sets, right? Now, NVIVO has file classifications, okay? And basically, let's put participant. Okay, and basically what you can do is, you know, you can add a bunch of attributes for each file, right? And here, instead of like trying to build sets, you're basically putting, it's almost like meta coding, high level coding, where you're putting specific tags for a file. So for example, I can put here, let's say type of document, okay, and I get info, and I can do value, I can do interview, field note, or document. Okay, and I can change the colors here. So I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Done. Okay, so now if I go to files, I can, where was this? I have to set, okay, I can go here to classification and participant, and there you go. Okay, so you can do file classification. Okay, so this classifies files across a matrix instead of just grouping them. It classifies them across a matrix. You know, which can be useful. I'd say this is more useful when you are doing, you know, cross tabulation analysis. So this is when you are trying to see which type of practices lead to which types of outcomes, and you're trying to build a table. That's something that can be useful there. Okay. So here I can go. Oops. Type of document. I'll do field note. Okay. So that's how you work. And okay. And so this actually it's an interview. So let's start interview. Okay. So and I could have a bunch of attributes here, right? That would allow me to really, you know, do a super rich table, right? So I can go participants and can go get info, let's say. Done. Okay, and here I have the interviews, get info. Participants, where's this? Yeah. Anyway, so basically that's how you do it. You can see I could filter and so on. So that's useful there. Okay. Now I can also do externals. What is externals for? So externals is basically for you to link to external documents that you either do not want to have or cannot have in your research file, but in your coding file, but that you still want to reference for some reason. So this could be, for example, imagine you want to reference the company's website. Okay, so you can go here to externals and put a new external. Okay, and then go and say company website. Okay, type web link. Okay, URL path. Let's put apple.com. And that's it. Okay. So I'll have it here, and the good thing is that now I can make notes about the company's website, but I can just go and where is it? I can I can just open the external file, right? There we go. See? So basically that allows me to have in NVIVO, this could also be like, videos or, so any sort of external file or very large files that PDFs, music that I don't want, that are relevant for my project, that I want to code, right? So I want to, I want to code here this file as a conditions for action, right? Sorry, conditions for action, and there you go. So when I do a search for conditions for action, this will show up, but then it will force me to open the URL. Okay, so super flexible, really easy to work with, and here obviously, you can do your annotation. So this is also useful if you want to memo on external files and websites and so on. Okay, so that's pretty flexible. Okay, good. So I would say for most of us, what we need to do are sets, right? So new sets, and we'll have interviews. Okay, new set, field notes. Okay, so sorry. New set documents. Okay, so because this allows me to, it's basically for search purposes. But if I want to do cross tabulations, then sets are not very good, right? So for data analysis purposes, so when you want to cross analyze codes, do a table that looks at cross frequencies in codes, then you need to work on file classifications. Okay, that's NVIVO. How you work with documents in NVIVO. Now TMS is I'll say a little bit more powerful, also a little bit more complicated. So let's look at TMS now. Okay, so here we go. So for TMS, okay, so this is when you open a project, it opens here. Again, to a new screen. Open a project, it opens here. Let me just see if that was the question. No. Okay, so when you open a project, it opens here, right? Sorry, actually. When you open a project, it opens here, and then you go to files, okay? So to add a file here, you just do open. No, sorry. You just do, sorry about that. You just do import, right? And let's see if I have something on my desktop that, no, because, well, maybe I have, yeah. So I have here this interview, right? So when you import, here it is, okay? So it goes to your file list, okay? Now, as simple as that. Now, here on the right, you are doing your search set, okay? So search set is when you want to search for codes in TMS, and it's something quick and uncomplicated. You can just go and add your files here. Now, this means that file naming is crucial in TMS, right? So you can see these data are in Portuguese, so I put entrevistado, that's interviewee, and that's just because this is organized alphabetically, it just allows me to have all the interviews together, so it's super easy to select, okay? Good. And so I just I just add these ones here, and then I can search for codes or text strings and so on in those files. Okay. Now, but like in any other software, I can do file sets. Okay. So what I can do is I can go here, okay, to all my entrevistado, and then I add all. Okay. And I do interviews. and I add, okay? So my file, now I have a file set with interviews that only has the interviews, okay? So I can go here, I can remove all, and I can go to the set interviews, okay? And add it directly here, so super, super easy, okay? So that's what sets are all about. Imagine you want to take these out of the interviews, okay? What you do is you just do this, okay? Well, you can actually, for interviews, you can do, let's remove this one, okay? So interviews, you can, let's remove all. You can just do this, and you can just say, I'm updating the set, okay? And this gives you the sort of takes that interview out of the set, okay? As simple as that. Now, again, same thing in NVIVO, right? So we're building sets, so you can have sets with the type of data, field notes, interviews, documents. You can have sets for managers, employees, for teams, whatever you want, right? And again, this is super useful because when you're doing a search, right? When you're doing a search and you have your search set, you can go, to interviews, right? If you only want to look at managers, you can go to your manager data set that has interviews and field notes. If you want to go to your employee or team number 3, then you can go to the interviews, field notes, and documents of team number 3. Okay. Now, just like NVIVO has these attributes, TMS has something it calls stacks. It's basically works the same way. So I'll show you how it works. So for example, if I go here, this will say, okay, let's pick interviews. Okay, so this is telling me, okay, these are all the interviews, and some of these interviews have subtags that are interviews, data, and interesting. Okay. So if I go to data here, some of these are the data files and some have interesting and interviews. If I go to interesting, okay, then let's see, sorry, okay. If I go to interesting, then all of the interesting files have these codes, but none of them has any code that is not shared with the other files. Okay. So how do I do this? So it's super simple. I just select my my files. Okay, and I enter the tag. Okay. So all of these have these 4 tags, but I can delete and just say, let's say field notes. Okay. There you go. So now I have field notes tag. Okay. And now if I select it, there you go. I know, okay, the field notes tag has all of these tags, okay? So that's it. Now, this is not a set, so it's not going to reduce the number of interviews, right? For that, I need to go to File Sets. File Tags is just putting labels. And obviously, I can do this individually, right? So I can go here and add a tag, like, team number 3, okay? There you go, okay? So now, if I go here, okay, or if I go to everything that has interesting, I know that some of the files that are interesting have team number 3, okay? Again, this is for cross-tabulation. It's not for reducing the number of documents that you're looking at. To reduce the number of documents that you're looking at, you need to go here. Okay? Good. Now, if you remember when we discussed these types of software, we talked about how TMS was more powerful than NVIVO. And here is one of the reasons that is the case. Okay? Here we have the possibility of doing a regular expression search on our files. Now, just to expression, I'll just show you what this is. Okay, you can go to the Wikipedia piece, but I'll just so we can just show here, and you have like these amazing tutorials on regular expression search. Okay, and so you can do, as you can see, like insanely, narrow intersections, sort of searches, and this is supported in the set screen. So you can do sets, this is almost automatically, let's say, by using this, just this very simple set building window in TMS. Okay, you just click on regular expressions, and there you go. Now you can also here intersect sets. So that'll mean, for example, if you want to find out all of the interviews for managers or all of the interviews for employees, you could do them here as well. Okay, so basically that's how you work with documents. I'll just take a look to see if there are some questions. Otherwise, I'll just close with some final thoughts. There are no questions. So here are the final thoughts about what we learned today. The final thoughts, the bigger tip for today is, if you're doing qualitative analysis, use your field notes as the anchor. You can use interviews for this as well. You can use memos for this as well, but just have one file where you have everything. Your notes, your sort of diary of what you've done, and the documents that you have collected, okay? Then make sure that you have an Excel where you list all of the documents that are not in your field notes, okay? So there you go. Now, this would mostly be the documents that you have in NVIVO on externals, right? So documents that are not in your data set, but that you may want to refer to, And finally, this idea of when you're beginning to analyze the data, make sure that you build the sets that you need to build, so that when you're looking for codes, when you're writing papers, you have your data structured in a way that is useful. Now, obviously, the good thing about all of TMS and NVIVO is that you can do this post hoc, right? So you can begin coding before having the sets done. But it is a super, super important set. Now, remember, your sets are sort of like can be the high level unit of analysis. Okay, so remember that in my 2013 MS quarterly paper, I coded for each report, so I can have all of the field notes involved in the preparation of each monthly report as a separate set. Okay, make sure that you do that, because then you'll need data split like that when you're writing the paper and doing the analysis. I hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a great start of the year. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.